You're listening to CFRN, the Christian Financial Radio Network.
Good afternoon, traders, and welcome back to the CFRN E-mini Futures Cast. This is the daily broadcast of Indeterminate Length, where we discuss all things E-mini, along with some really big ideas on the finer points of trading gold, bonds, crude, sugar, the euro. Joining us today, Mr. Michael Borth. From our trading desk in Chicago, Mr. Burton Schlichter. Now, to get things started, let's go to our host and founder in Studio A, overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. Here's Dwayne.
Good afternoon. Welcome back. Today is Monday, 10th day of June, 2024. Thanks so much for joining us. Whoever you are, wherever you are, we're just glad to have you right here, right now. We do 2 live broadcasts every trading day. First live broadcast is our live training room. That's reserved for members only and those who are taking our 1-week free trial. If you have not taken the 1-week free trial, you can do so by just going to mytradingiq.com. And at the very top of the page, there's a link. It says 5-day free trial, no credit card required. Click the link, fill out the registration form, hit submit, and in most cases, same day, we will get your desktop set up, get your indicators indicating, and then your trial will actually start the following day. Now, it doesn't matter what day of the week or weekend or hour of the day that you sign up for the trial, you will get 5 consecutive trading days, even if it stretches over a weekend. And it's not just access to the live training room. You get access to everything our members, our passport holders have access to for the full 5 days, with only one exception. That would be the members-only workshop every Thursday night. But everything else, from the group training to the one-on-one mentoring, to the indicators, the strategy, the logic alerts, the concierge trade alerts, the weekly zones, everything. We treat you just like a member for 5 days. No credit card required. So you can have a clear head and at the end of the 5 days make a well-informed, intelligent decision as to whether or not trading is right for you. Now, when the live training room ends each day, we take a 30-minute break and we come back for this broadcast, the afternoon broadcast, which is open to the public. Everybody, everywhere on planet Earth with an internet-connected device. There's a couple different ways to join this afternoon broadcast live. Best way, you only have to do it once. Go to mytradingiq.com, scroll down to where it says afternoon broadcast. Click that link, fill out that 30-second registration form, and you're done. Going forward, what will happen is every trading day, you'll get an email about an hour before this broadcast starts. In the email, there's a link. So at 12 noon Eastern, all you have to do is click the link in the email, and it will automatically log you into our platform. Of course, and now the benefit of doing it that way is you have access to the question box. So you can ask questions and participate in the discussion. But there will be days when you're out of the office, away from your desktop, but you still want to join live. And there'll be days when you're busy and can't join live, but want to get caught up later. And do both of those via our YouTube channel. It's very easy to remember, youtube.com/CFRN. You've already got the YouTube part memorized, so really all you got to remember is the CFRN. Not only do we broadcast live every trading day on our YouTube channel, but we also archive each and every daily broadcast. Currently, there are over 2,500 daily episodes archived for your educational and viewing pleasure. And if you're new to the world of CFRN, it's a great way to get to know who we really are. Not just today, not just this week, but thanks to the power of YouTube, you can scroll back 6 weeks, 6 months, 6 years, even more. Just pick some days at random. Watch a little bit, fast forward a little bit, watch some more, go to another day. You'll discover the thread of connectivity, the thread of continuity woven through each and every daily broadcast and our very vibrant trading community. YouTube.com/CFRN. Okay, let's get going with our daily devotional and a word of prayer as we do every day. Then we'll get into the markets. Then about 12:45, 12:50, Michael will join us, give us a recap of what happened this morning in the live training room. Then we'll go live on the TradingView platform for 30 minutes, do some live trading, and then I'll wrap things up with our good word for the day. So the topic of the devotion we've been on for over a week now. Still got a couple more days. Passion. Fear is an unwanted friend that most of us wrestle with every day. Fear of failure, fear of disappointment, fear of pain, fear of the unknown. Fear follows us everywhere we go, and we cling to it like a life preserver. Yet fear is a topic God is very clear about in the Bible. In Isaiah 41:10, it says, "So do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand." We are commanded not to live in fear, because we have everything we need in the person of Jesus Christ. That's why he came as a baby. That's why he died. That's why he defeated death, so we wouldn't have to be afraid. Those who are not in Christ think death is the end. But believers know better. Death is only the beginning. His life, death, and resurrection were not in vain. His death sealed our destiny. Whatever comes our way in this earthly life, we can rest in the assurance that we serve a just God who cares about even the most mundane parts of our day. He came so that we may have life. And in the midst of that beautiful exchange, he gave us freedom. Freedom from sin, freedom from addiction, freedom from jealousy, and above all, freedom from fear. Our scripture of the day, Matthew 6:33 and 34. "But seek ye first his kingdom and his righteousness, and all these things will be given to you as well. Therefore, do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about itself. Each day has enough trouble of its own." Again, that's Matthew 6:33 and 34. God promises to give us just enough grace for each day. But we must fix our eyes on Jesus and not allow the distractions this world hurls at us to deter us. His love for us is unconditional. His sacrifice unmatched. His grace sufficient. Everything we need for this day is found in Christ alone. And here's some lyrics from a popular contemporary Christian song you may have heard. I find my strength, I find my hope, I find my help in Christ alone. When fear assails, when darkness fails, I find my peace in Christ alone. I give my life, I give my all, I sing my song to Christ alone. The King of Kings, the Lord of all heaven sings to Christ alone. Join me in a word of prayer. Heavenly Father, we come before you seeking your kingdom and your righteousness above all else, as we just read in Matthew 6:33. Lord, help us to prioritize your kingdom in our lives, guide our hearts and minds to pursue your will and righteousness. Teach us to trust in your provision and to release our worries about the future into your loving hands. Grant us the faith to face each day with confidence, knowing that you are with us and will provide for all our needs. Help us to live in the present moment, relying on your grace and strength for today. It's in Jesus' name we believe and pray. And everybody said, Amen. Amen and happy Monday. Hope you had a great weekend. Let me give you the numbers from around the world. We shall start with the cash markets, or the indices as they're called. Let me refresh my data. All right, there we go. The Dow is down 21 points. NASDAQ is up 53. S&P 500 is up 7.5. And the Russell 2000 is down about a half point. Needless to say, pretty quiet out there. In the commodity basket, crude oil up $1.86, trading 77.30, not make that 77.40 last. It's a gain of almost 2.5%. Gold up $1.40, trading 23.26 last. Silver up 36 cents, trading 29.80 last. That's a gain of almost 1.25%. In the Asian markets at the close, the Nikkei posted a gain of 354 points, almost 1%. The Shanghai rose just 2.5 points. The Hang Seng fell 109 points. And in the European markets at the close, FTSE down 16, the DAX down 68, CAC down 107. For the CAC, that's almost 1.5%. So we had a mixed day in Asia, a red day in the UK, and at the moment, it's a mixed Radio Monday here in the US of A. We got the Dow and the Russell barely in the red. NASDAQ and the S&P deeper in the green. As futures traders, we like to see the four major indices the same color. We don't care if they're all red or all green, because we can trade in either direction at the drop of a hat if that's what the chart in front of us tells us to do. And it's on the days when all four of the major indices are red or green, that's when you get your better follow through. So it is what it is. Just know that it is a mixed Radio Monday. Okay. Now, the NASDAQ reversed earlier losses on Monday as investors brace for a Federal Reserve policy decision and key inflation data in the week ahead, with NVIDIA and Apple events in immediate focus. Dow Jones Industrial Average dropped around 0.2%, coming off a muted end to a winning streak for the three major gauges. The S&P 500 hugged the flat line, while the tech-heavy NASDAQ composite climbed roughly 0.2%. Stocks are treading water after signs of strength in a mixed May non-farm payrolls report reinforced bets that the Fed will keep interest rates at a two-decade high for longer than expected. Traders' expectations for a rate cut in September have fallen, while those for November have risen, according to the CME Fed Watch tool. Now, in another article, investors are on edge this week as the Federal Reserve officials prepare to signal how many interest rate cuts are still likely in 2024. Most market watchers believe policymakers will dial their expectations back, but the question is, by how much? The new projection on Wednesday will come in the form of a so-called dot plot, a chart updated quarterly that shows each Fed official's prediction about the direction of the federal funds rate. In March, the dot plot revealed a consensus among Fed officials for 3 cuts. That was in March. Now that projection is in question following a string of tricky inflation readings, cautious commentary from Fed officials, and a U.S. labor market that added more jobs than expected in May. Most investors now expect little more than just 1 cut for 2024. The Kansas City Fed President, Esther George, said, "I think the policy path will change a bit." Now, she predicts the median among 19 policymakers could drop to 1 cut, even as a healthy number of officials still argue for 2. She said, "My expectation is the dots will show and confirm what I think the market has picked up, and that is fewer rate cuts with the inflation forecast holding." And a warning from JP Morgan. Wall Street's most prominent trading desks, from JP Morgan and Chase to Citigroup, are urging investors to prepare for a stock market jolt this week after the latest inflation print and the Federal Reserve's interest rate decision, both of which arrive on Wednesday. So we could see quiet sideways motion like we've seen today. We could see that into Wednesday. The options market is betting the S&P 500 index will move 1.3 to 1.4% in either direction by Friday, based on the price of at-the-money straddles that expire that day. That's according to Andrew Tyler over at JP Morgan Chase's trading desk. This would come in the wake of the Consumer Price Index report Wednesday and the Federal Reserve's interest rate decision that afternoon. With CPI and Fed on the same day, there is a possibility of a CPI outcome being reversed by Powell's press conference. Meanwhile, investors are preparing for a Fed Day stock market move that would be the largest since March of 2023. That comes from the Citigroup trading desk. Forecast for May's core CPI, which strips out the volatile food and energy components and is seen as a better underlying indicator than the headline measure, is projected to rise 0.3% from a month earlier. Core CPI comes in between 0.3 and 0.35% from the prior month. The most likely scenario at JP Morgan's trading desk. The S&P 500's outcome ranges from a 0.75% loss to a 0.75% gain, depending on shelter disinflation, along with increases in vehicle and medical prices. So there you have it. All the news that's fit to read. Let's go to Logic 247. It's our 24/7 around-the-clock E-mini alert service. Not just E-minis, but also crude, gold, silver, euro, bonds. Last week, we ended up with 7% getting stopped out for the week. We're now in week 306. And over the last 306 weeks, we have issued over, let's see, what was the last number that came out today? 16,884. 16,884 alerts have been issued over the last 306 weeks. We've averaged on a weekly basis 20% or less of the alerts being stopped out based on market structure and a simple 3-step process that we teach all of our passport holders in their one-on-one mentoring sessions. Valerie did this recap this morning at 8 a.m. Eastern. I've added some alerts since then, and so she will update the recap this afternoon and probably again this evening. At the time she did the recap, we issued a total of 8 alerts last night. We're still waiting on the outcome of 2. That gave us 6 actionable alerts, of which 1 or 17% would have been stopped out based on market structure. And that very simple process we teach all of our passport holders. 2 weeks ago, we had nothing stop out. That was possibly a once-in-a-lifetime event. So it went from 0, and last week was 7% at the end of the week. And we're starting the week out this week at 17%. But over 306 weeks, we've averaged 20% or less week after week. So that is where we stand for now. Now, the alerts issued last night are based on last week's weekly trading zones, because the new weekly zones don't come out till Monday morning at 6:15 a.m. Eastern. Alerts that were issued today and are not reflected in this recap, those are based on this week's zones. We've published the weekly trading zones since December 14th of 2009, almost 15 years. Again, they come out every Monday morning, 6:15 a.m. Eastern. This way, our members and even trial members are able to get them on their charts before Wall Street even wakes up a week. 306 weeks, that is a very long time, but twice as long we've had our original alert service, concierge trade alerts. They're a little bit different. See, the logic alerts can come out anytime around the clock, 2 a.m. or 2 p.m. Futures trade around the clock, and we have traders around the globe. But the CTAs, they come out shortly after the Globex open each evening. So the Monday session that we're in right now began last night at 6 p.m. Eastern. These targets were given to all members and trial members at 6:10, 10 minutes after the open. Now the purpose of the alerts is to help you to learn how to read the chart and understand what it's telling you and what you should expect. There is no crystal ball anywhere that predicts accurately 100% of the time what's going to happen next. But once you understand how to read a chart, then you know what the next logical thing is. Now, does that happen 100% of the time? No. But the logic alerts show that 20% of the time, the market does something other than what we think it's going to do. Don't waste your time or money chasing a holy grail that cannot exist. It would defy the laws of science, physics, and even God. The only holy grail in trading is learning how to trade. So the logic alerts teach you how to find the windows of opportunity, the entry, the initial target, the additional targets. Once you get that down, then the CTAs teach you to find all those entries and additional targets yourself. The first thing you do when this report comes out each evening is make a note. Go to the 30-minute chart of whatever markets you trade. All alerts are created on the 30-minute chart. Go to the 30-minute chart of whatever markets you actually trade. Make a note on that chart where price was at the time the report came out. Then draw a line in the sand at the long target. Draw a line in the sand at the short target. Those will serve as great visual cues to help you stay on the right side of the street. Price gets above the 30-minute BBC, it's attempting to reach the long target. Price gets below the 30-minute BBC, it's attempting to reach the short target. BBC is the green line you see on my charts. It stands for bull-bear cross. When price crosses above the green line, bullish, and anticipate higher prices. When price crosses below the green line, we're bearish and anticipate lower prices. Always relative to whatever time frame you apply BBC. But again, for the purpose of the alerts, it's always the 30-minute chart. But you can put it on a daily, weekly, monthly, 5-minute tick chart, range chart. That part's pretty simple. But now this is where you start looking left yourself to spot potential obstacles. Give you swing highs and swing lows, and you learn how price behaves at a weekly trading zone. That's important because price is always trying to reach a weekly trading zone. From the moment the markets open Sunday night, till they close Friday afternoon, price is above the 30-minute BBC, it's trying to reach the zone overhead. Price is below the 30-minute BBC, it's trying to reach the zone below. Other than that, resist the urge to make it more complicated. As long as you know which way the wind is blowing, it's pretty simple to reach your goal for the day. So again, all of these targets went out to our members and trial members 10 minutes after the open last night. So let's take a look at the daily chart. Remember, I talked a lot about this bearish engulfing candle, and it sent us lower as we... Well, that's just what a bearish engulfing candle in the right context is supposed to do. And to see two back-to-back like this on a daily chart, it's highly unusual. Okay, we got a new all-time historic high on Friday, but we closed way off the high of the day. Okay, All right. I'm going to put you on hold for just 1 second. Right back. Okay. Now, why are we looking at a daily chart? You probably don't trade a daily chart. You might not even trade the S&P. That's okay. The reason we look at the daily chart every day is because we want to look over the shoulder of the institutional traders who move price. Institutional traders trade in such size because of their account sizes that they literally move price up or down. So whether you trade the S&P or a different futures market, individual stocks, crypto, Forex, ETF, if you'll just spend 2 minutes with the daily chart before you get started trading, you'll find that over time it will help improve your results. Price came down Friday to support at the step line, which we talked about Thursday night in the workshop. And then we ran up and put in a new high, and then we kind of closed with a doji there. So last night we spiked that support at the step line, and since the market has been trying to climb higher, okay, a little green body there, it could become a big green candle like that, or it could revert. This was a green candle. See this wick? That was a green candle. Then it reversed, and we ended up with this huge red candle. So while you can't know what's going to happen in the future, you can clearly see what's happening right now. Okay. So again, if you'll just make it part of your routine. Spend 2 minutes looking at the daily chart of whatever you're about to trade. Think about what the institutional traders are thinking. They look at daily, weekly, and monthly charts the way you and I look at 30-minute charts, 5-minute charts, tick charts, and range charts. Again, it has to do with account size. So let's go to the 30-minute. Now this is how quiet the session has been. This is where we opened last night. Got a leg, a retracement. See, when red and falling gets below price, it becomes potential support because it's probably on its way to turning into blue and climbing. Bearish, bullish. But the pullback to the BBC holds more often than it doesn't. You can see that on the daily chart too. Pull back, pull back, pull back, pull back, pull back. But eventually it will trade through. Over here, we pulled back and spiked it, but it held. It never let go of the green line. So last night we pulled up to the BBC, the pullback held, and then price dropped to the short target, to the tick. When the market finds support, and that support was defined on Friday for us. When the market finds support, it will go look for resistance. So it found it for a bit at the BBC, gave us a leg down, then buyers came in, and they've now run us up to the weekly trading zone. That's last week's zone. Remember, all the alerts that go out Sunday night are based on the previous week's zones. So tomorrow on the afternoon broadcast, you'll see this week's zones, because all the alerts that go out after 6:30 a.m. Eastern Monday are all based on the new weekly trading zones. But as you can see, the weekly zones from last week are still at work. Okay. Usually by Tuesday, the new zones have fully taken over. So on Monday, it's a good idea to keep your eye on both of them, last week and this week. Just don't let your chart get too cluttered up, because that becomes confusing. When price rallies up to a weekly zone, we expect resistance till proven otherwise. When price drops to a weekly trading zone, see, this is Friday. When price drops to a weekly zone, we expect support until proven otherwise. 70% of the time when price encounters a weekly zone, you'll get consolidation. 20% of the time, rejection. 10% of the time, the slice. That's when a 30-minute candle slices through the zone like it's not even there. But when it runs out of steam, it will typically retrace back to the zone it sliced through and then continue in the direction of the slice. And that's exactly what happened there. The Dow, here's where we opened last night. It basically did exactly what the ES did. Came down to the short target. Got a bounce, back to the short target. We got above, but this pullback, you see, the candles are touching. And we opened up here. What we're looking for a change of direction is we want to see a candle that opens and closes above the BBC. And that hasn't happened yet. We're sitting right on top of it, but you got blue and climbing right on top of that candle. Support, resistance. So price is trapped right there. I wouldn't do anything till price gets above these two highs, and then I'd be ready to take profit before we got to that high. So on the Russell, here's where we opened last night. Came down to the target, traded through it. Now there was still one more zone below from last week, but we didn't get there. Buyers came in. If you look left, you'll know why. Buyers came in, pushed us above the BBC. Now, see this high right here? There's a little tiny wick on top of this green candle. And that is this high right here. Now notice that the black step line is starting to angle to the right. Once it crosses blue and climbing, see it's on the left side right now. Once it gets on the right side, you should expect price to retrace back to the BBC. Pullback holds more often than not. As you can see, it held here, and it held here. It held here. But this time it traded through. So, get a leg and a retracement, a leg and a retracement, a leg and a retracement, a leg. Now you're running in the other direction. So you should be expecting a retracement here. Once the step line crosses blue and climbing, a retracement back to the BBC. If the pullback holds, then you'll look for long opportunities. Pullback fails to hold, you look for short opportunities. The pullback held here, so you're looking for short opportunities. Once price overcame it, you had a candle open and close above the BBC. So by the open of this candle, 2024, and it ran all the way up to 2020. The next, well, this candle ran up to 2028. So 4 points in that candle. You only need 2 points to get your goal for the day. I'm sorry. open was 2024 and the high was 2028. Yeah, no, that's right. 4 points. And that's the Russell. Let's go to the NQ. Here's where the NQ opened last night. This was the opening candle. Ran right up into red and falling and the BBC. So that's resistance times 2. Sent us down. See, red and falling got below price and it became support because it was on its way to becoming blue and climbing. Sent us back to the BBC where we consolidated. we expect the pullback to hold until proven otherwise, and it did hold, and it sent us down to the target, which was established on Friday. Support. See, support will always send the market looking for resistance, which we found at the BBC, sent us back down to support. That support then got us above the BBC, and we ran long all the way up to the long target. We hit the short target twice, long target once. Crude, here's where we opened last night. Got above the BBC, got above the zone, hit the long target. Resistance. That resistance, as you can see, was pretty much established on Friday. Then we come back to the weekly zone, consolidate, hit the target again, and then it looks like we're going to drop, but we run into this support right here. That support sends us looking for resistance. We got to the target, to the zone overhead, consolidated, pulled back to the BBC, the pullback held, and it held again. And it sent us all the way up to the next zone overhead. See how the step line and the BBC and blue and climbing are running parallel? You got price, step line, blue and climbing. See? Anticipate higher prices until the step line looks right. Then expect a retracement back to the BBC. It's the same on every market. We trade every market exactly the same. We opened last night right at the weekly zone, consolidated at the zone for hours. Remember, that's what happens 70% of the time. Now, we had a huge sell-off. I think one of the biggest sell-offs I've ever seen. About $70 on Friday in one day. When you have a wide-ranging day like that, you'll often have a small range day. We consolidated for hours at the zone, then we got above the BBC, we got a leg, a retracement, and now price is trying to overcome this high from Friday. Actually, you see that little wick right there? That's resistance. A pull back to the BBC, we expect it to hold until proven otherwise. If price trades through the BBC, remember you got a bullish cross right here, which could become good support, and you got last week's zone. And then the short target's way down here. Silver also had a huge sell-off on Friday. Last night we opened here, ran up to the BBC, consolidated, leg, retracement, leg, retracement. Got below the BBC, we opened and closed below the BBC. We weren't able to overcome the support created earlier in the session. So now, it's just been a jingle jangle. The good thing is you only need 2 points in silver, 2 pennies in silver. When the price moves 2 pennies. Like right now. If it went from 29.86 to 29.88, 2 pennies, that would be worth $100 per contract traded. which is not a lot, but once you've earned the right to trade 5 contracts, then that's $500. And once you've earned the right to trade 10 contracts, that's $1,000. But you don't start out trading 10 contracts or 5 or even 1. You start out in the simulator in your demo account so that you can learn the strategy. All new members get the 24/20 blueprint. It walks you through the process of writing your business plan, your trading plan, and it instructs you that you need to put together 10 consecutive days in a row in your demo account. You reach your goal in 10 trades or less before you even think about going live. Once you accomplish that, the blueprint will give you the green light to go live with 1 contract. Now your goal is to increase your account balance by $2,000. Once you do that, the blueprint will give you the green light to add a 2nd contract. Now the big difference between the 1st and 2nd contract is the 1st contract is funded with your startup capital, the money used to open your account. But the 2nd contract is added with profit you earned in the market. Blueprint will let you know when it's time to add number 3, number 4, number 5, number 10, all the way up to number 20. Here's the deal. You only add when the blueprint says it's time to add, and you only add with profit you earned in the market. If you have the discipline to stick to that formula, it makes it far more difficult to blow up another account. Not impossible, but you will have to break some rules. And last, the euro. Had a big gap lower open last night that has not filled. Came right down to the short target. Support sends us looking for resistance, sends us looking for support. Leg retracement, leg retracement. Now we've got a candle that opened above the BVC. If it closes above the BVC, it's red. So there's 12 minutes left in the life of this candle. I'd like to see a green candle open and close above the BVC before I start thinking long. That brings us back to the daily. And again, double top. In fact, I posted a chart this morning. Let me show you. Michael should be here any second. As far as I know. Let's see. Yeah, here. Now, we've been looking at futures charts. This is the cash index. You can't trade this. You can trade derivatives of it, like futures, like options. But we had this bearish engulfing on the daily, and then we had this bearish engulfing on the daily. As I said earlier, highly unusual. And now Michael has joined us, so he'll give us a recap of what happened this morning in the live training room. And after that, we'll go live on TradingView for 30 minutes. And after that, I'll wrap things up with our good word for the day.
Excellent.
All right, looks good.
All right. Let me sure I have all this stuff going. Kind of do. I'll turn it on like that. All right, here we go. And we'll start here. Good afternoon, everyone. Today is Monday, the 10th day of June, 2024. Now, if you have not taken a free trial with us and you want to, go here to mytradingiq.com and click on this purple button right here. And when you click on that purple button, you are going to be sent to this page right here. Yes, this page right here, where all that we ask for is your name, your email, and your phone number. right? Your name, your email, and your phone number. Down here at the bottom, if you have an NinjaTrader machine ID, you can give us your NinjaTrader machine ID. If you have TradingView, give us your TradingView login ID. Okay, those are the things that we need to enable the indicators for you. If you have both, give us both, and we'll enable it for both of them for you. All right, that is how you get started with the trial. Now, the room. If you're going to read the spreadsheet, you have to read all the CFTC risk disclosures down at the bottom. Today, as I said, is the 10th day of June 2024. Today, we made 2 on the NQ, 16 on the Russell, 14 on the YM, and 6 on the ES. That put us at plus 235 on the morning session. Today, it took 35 minutes and 13 trades to get to the goal for the day. At that point, we're up $2,340, and we took a total of 17 trades this morning. So on the month now, we're up $2,062. That's over 6 trading days, averaging $343 per contract per morning session. On the year now, we're at $42,552. That's over 108 trading days, averaging $394 per morning session. Okay. Now, the 24/20 blueprint is a plan that gets you from 1 contract to 20 contracts over 24 months. If you were to start that, what the plan says is if you start out with 1 contract and you work your way up to adding 1 contract a month, then eventually you will be up to 20 contracts, hopefully over 20 months. And that's the plan that I'm on. I started mine 18 months ago, so I'm on the 18th contract right now. But if you started this year with just 1 contract, that's fine. If you did that and did everything like we did in the room in the morning, so far this year, you should be averaging around $1,271 per hour. If you did it like me and started in January of last year, so far this year, you would be averaging $6,150 per hour. Okay? Because you would have started with 13 contracts this year. So you're averaging $6,150 per hour so far this year. Okay? Now, let's get into the actual trades. Okay, in the actual trades here, we had, let's start with YM. We had something on everything today. We had a decent number of trades. So we had something on everything, and we did do the lesson plan today, and I ran it over a little bit like I've been doing lately, but that's okay. Right here, we started out with a break even here on the YM. Right, the next trade that we got, we missed some really nice trades through here. We had another break even right there. And then right here, we picked up 4 ticks on that. And hold it. We picked up 10 ticks over here to get us to plus 14. And that is where we ended it with the YM on the morning session. Looks like there was 1 blue arrow trade right here and 1 blue arrow trade right here during the break, both of which were decent trades. Okay. Now, let's get into the Russell. We did trade the Russell a bit this morning as well. Yeah, we did trade the Russell a bit this morning as well. And let's get back to the beginning of that. All right, the Russell is where we had the majority of our gains on the day. It is, yeah. We started out here with a break even on the Russell on that blue arrow right there. This blue arrow here, we picked up 15 ticks, and then the next one right here, we picked up 1. I got a 16 on the Russell. And I'm pretty sure that's where we wrapped it up for the Russell. During the break, there was, well, right before the break, there was a short here that I didn't do, and in here, there was a long here that worked out to be, it would have been a break even or a little bit of profit for me. I know it went all the way up here, but once it had this much in it, I would have my stop at break even or locked in some profit there. The next one was right here, and that probably would have stopped me out. And then I probably would have slipped in right up here. I wouldn't have had any room to move the stop to break even. That was the Russell today, right? Now we'll do the ES as well. On the ES, I'm going way back into yesterday. Here we go. Okay, so on the ES now, we started out right here with a break even. And the next trade we took right here, we picked up 2 ticks, and then we picked up 4 ticks right. Us to here, and that got it. Nothing. That got us to plus 6. That's where we ended it on the ES. You can see here there was nothing else happening during the break, right? Don't have much news to pull for us on Wednesday. Let's go back here to the beginning. Here we go. So on the NQ, the reason it took so long to get the goal for the day today, our first trade on the NQ was right here. We picked up 4 ticks. Then I messed up this trade. I should have had my stop at break even, but I didn't, and I stopped out. And then I messed up this trade. I should have had my stop at break even, but I didn't, and I stopped out. So it was minus 36 at that point. So it took me a little while to get back from that. We had this trade right here. I believe we picked up, we get 8 ticks on that. Yeah, to get us down to minus 28. And then finally I got a plus 30 right here to get us to plus 2. And we had a break even there. I don't think we traded it again after that. Not that there was an opportunity to, but there wasn't a ton of opportunity. So that is how the morning went with the blue arrows. All right, we had one right there during the break and one right there during the break. The outer band on that one were really flat, so I probably would have skipped that, but I would have taken that. That would have stopped me out for sure. You see how flat everything got in here this afternoon? We have a green arrow right now, but the outer bands are completely flat, so I wouldn't be taking that arrow either. Okay. Wow, that went by really fast. It's 12:56, and I'm all done going through my list. I'm in my morning session. It's usually after 1 o'clock when I get to this point. Well, anyway, I can still get into everything else that I normally do. All right, so right now we are just going sideways here on the NQ. We're just going sideways here on the ES. Now this green arrow did not put in a higher swing. It went up and bounced off the weekly trading zone to the tick. So this is looking pretty weak right here. I don't know if it's going to make it up above here and back up to the weekly trading zone, but it's looking pretty weak. Over here on the NQ, it's also looking pretty weak. This green arrow did not put in a higher swing, and you have just flat outer bands. Russell is trying to make a little bit of a run for it here, but it's not quite there yet. And over here on the YM, we want that to get out of the no trade zone. Now the Russell is at the top of its range that it's got going right here. We'll see if it fails at the top of the range right there. You can see the NQ is dropping down here after putting in probably just enough. If you would have taken the green arrow here at 11.25, it ran up to 13.50. Depending on your fill, you probably had just enough in there. But this green arrow here did not put in a higher swing, so this is looking pretty weak. And I don't know. This is what it looks like right now. We want to see it get out of the no trade zone one way or another. The Russell is still in a no trade zone. The YM still in a no trade zone, and everything's looking pretty weak right here. So everything could just turn down right now. If you look at the bigger picture, which is something I hadn't done yet today, really too much of with the list plan I had going on this morning. One thing I didn't do was put the weekly trading zone on for this week. So let me do that right now. For those of you guys who don't know how to put the weekly trading zones on, every week, every Monday morning, when you get the weekly trading zones, you get them in here in your Telegram channel. Okay. And what I do is I just copy them in the Telegram channel, copy selected text, and then I come over here and just put them inside my WTZ on top of what used to be there. Just replace that and it repositions the zones just like that. Okay. And the ES ones are right here. Copy selected text and here view all active indicators and put them right there on top of that. There it is. So we're failing off at that weekly trading zone right there. And the Russell. Copy selected text and put them on here. And then I have to remember to go and save my workspace when I'm done with all this. You see the ES is really starting to fail right here. This is kind of what we thought it was going to do. I'll go back to that in just a second and we'll go see how far it should fail. Okay. And the NQ zones, copy selected text on those, and view all active indicators, and here we go on the NQ. Those are the weekly trading zones as of right now. So let me get rid of all these drawing objects that we have going on here. And, hang on. Hang on a second here. Okay. Hold it. I'm trying to move something here. There we go. All right. Yeah. So how far down should the ES fail? Well, it's making a pretty good. So on the NQ right now, we're at the midpoint between these two weekly trading zones. Bigger picture stuff. We're at the midpoint between these two zones right here. Okay, and failing at the midpoint. It could bounce off right here. Once it hits this, it could bounce off of that. But I don't know that it will. Just gotta be ready for it either way. The Russell is also pulling back down to the MA1 where it could actually bounce off, but the midpoint between those zones is a little bit lower. Okay, the midpoint between these zones is right here. It's a little bit lower, so that's probably where that's going to head down to, I would think. Let's get rid of all this other stuff from last week. And the ES is right on top of this weekly trading zone. I did not realize that. Right here. Why is ES not showing it's on top of a zone here? I'll have to check that. I might have those zones wrong. Let me see. ES. Copy selected text. Let me go over here and make sure I don't have anything waiting over there. Here, view all active indicators, and here, paste.
You've got the NQ chart showing. Is that?
No, I got the ES chart showing right now. It says ES here and here. If you're looking at, if you're looking at the YouTube, you're probably a little bit delayed. I did have the NQ chart a second ago.
No, I'm actually looking at your chart. Seems to be frozen on the NQ. That could be on my end,
okay.
but
I don't know. Is it frozen on everybody else's end? Anybody? Is mine stuck on the NQ for everybody else too? It's possible that it is because I just had a serious hiccup when I was trying to get out of a trade.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the trade I was trying to get out of. It's not there. I haven't even looked at Bitcoin today.
It broke 70,000 today. Michael R says that, yeah, you're showing the NQ chart.
Okay, so everything is frozen up then.
Thank you, Michael R.
There's that fiber optic stuff again. That is upsetting to me.
Now, there is a place where you can pause the screen. I don't know if you accidentally might have bumped that.
No, it's right here. There, I just did pause it, and now I'll turn it back on. And I don't know if that refreshed it for you guys.
It still shows NQ.
Yeah.
In fact, and the NQ isn't moving, so.
Yeah, so everything's frozen.
Yeah, looks like it.
Okay, well.
Oh, and Eagle One over on YouTube says it's froze for him as well. So.
Up to you, and then take it back and see if that works. Okay, let me see if that works, man. I'll pass it back to you for a minute.
Oh, okay.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna make you the presenter, and then I'll take it back and see if.
Okay, so I've got the charts now. Okay, so you try taking them back then.
Okay. No, it says make presenter Dwayne. Let me go in here, and something's messed up because on my end, I don't see me as an option. to make the presenter right now. To make you the
Okay.
presenter, I'll try that again.
Let me see if I see you in there. Hang on. I see you in there. It says Michael B. Organizer. Let me try. It already has you as organizer. Let me try to make you presenter. Does she want to make Michael B. the presenter? Yes. Okay, you should have got a pop-up screen.
Yeah, I'm looking for it, but I don't see it. All right. Okay, here it comes. There. Try that. Audience view says waiting for next screen. There you go. You should be looking at all my charts right now. You good?
So far, it's a blank screen.
All right. From my end, it says you have them, but. All right. Well, Michael R., I can see that the last comment that you said you typed in was yes, and that's the last thing that I see. The only thing that I see. That was typed in.
Okay, what do you guys see now, Michael R.? What do you see? Please. Or Eagle One.
3. All right,
Eagle One says StoneX having problems
if I
with entries too close to market getting froze.
Okay, I'm having problems too. But it's good to know that StoneX is also having problems, and it's not just me with that. But this is...
Well, what if you go back to TradingView? Maybe we can see your charts then.
I'm in TradingView.
Oh, I thought you were showing DT Pro earlier. That's what was frozen on my screen, was a copy of DT
yeah, I did.
Pro.
I did have that, but now all my TradingView charts are showing right now. But let me try this. Let me switch networks and see if that helps. I don't think it's gonna let me. It's not gonna let me do that. I'm plugged into this one, and I don't know the password for that one. Yeah, I'd have to really disconnect to do that. Disconnect and reconnect. Well, this is aggravating. What's really aggravating was that trade that I was in that I was trying to get out of it.
Oh boy.
Well, I'm out of it. I did get out of it, but I got out of it about 8 ticks off of where I tried to get out of it. Still made a profit, but it was just not as good. Anyway, so you can't see my screens.
Nope, it's just black.
Crap. All right, let me send it back to you for just a minute, and then I'm going to switch to my other network. So it'll seem like I logged off for a minute, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to switch onto my other network.
All right, I'll just make myself the presenter.
Yeah.
Okay. But I clicked OK. So audience view. Yep, everybody's looking at my daily chart right now. Both in GoTo and on YouTube. My daily chart showing. You guys are still got that little green candle here on the daily, but we're slightly off the high of the day. Just taking a close look here on the 30-minute. We hit the zone from last week. We've retraced back to blue and climbing and found support. See, this was a red candle all the way down to blue and climbing. That acted as support and pushed it back up to resistance at the black step line.
Okay. All right.
All right.
I'm back.
So you want to give it a whirl now?
Yeah, we'll give it another shot.
Okay.
Let's see. Change presenter. I am in the list this time.
Okay.
Here to there.
I think it's working. It's working.
Excellent. All right.
Very good.
And that saddens me a little bit. That saddens me. Just.
If you had an open trade, check on that.
Yeah, I'm gonna go check mine down and make sure I don't. I'm pretty sure I don't have them. Yeah, I don't have them open over there anymore.
Okay.
But I did lose. Actually, it wasn't 8 ticks. It was 4 ticks. That last one. But anyway, So we're back here now. So the one that I was actually in, I'll show you. The one that I was actually in. How many charts do we have? Let me go up to 8. Was it the 8th one that I had? Go back to 7. It was a TV trade. I'm not sure if that's the current TV trade. Let's put the current TV trade on. This one. Get rid of the context PP. And we'll put on the shorts and the mid-trend trades. It was this short right here. I think it was that. No, it wasn't that short. That looks different. Oh, that's because it's on the wrong time frame. It was this short right here when this turns on. Let's see, it was this short right here that I was in, and it went all the way down here. And I tried to exit when it was down there, and it came back, and it got me out right there. Anyway, actually, it wasn't even that. It was on the ES. It wasn't on the Russell. Sorry, but it was in the same place. The markets looked a lot alike. You'll see. Right in here. You'll see. This is what it was. It was down here. I tried to get out down here, and I ended up getting out right up here. But
good trade.
Yeah, it would have been better. But anyway, that's what happens. Fiber optic. It's not. It's because I'm on the satellite part of the fiber optic. I got to see about them getting me wired direct right here. That's what I need. All right, so back in here, let's just do trading now. Back in here on the YM now, we are, we got to put in a lower swing. We haven't put in a lower swing from this last green arrow. We need to put that lower swing in. And over here right now, well, we're just going sideways. We're in a no trade zone, no trade zone, no trade zone. So let's go look at the Bitcoin and other things now that we're in all this stuff. Oops, wrong one. Sorry, this one. All right, this is Mara, and this is Mara on a 5-minute. We don't look that on a 5-minute, look that on a 30-minute. We're on a daily. I think that's what we're looking at on a daily before, right? Yeah, it's got the blue arrow there. I want to go look at Bitcoin on the daily. That's what we're really focusing on. Bitcoin here. From the blue arrow, we were saying to here, when it gets up there, yeah, 70 today, yeah. This is where we're saying it should get up to. All right, once it breaks through here, it should continue on up to here. This is where projecting, actually let's move it down like this, right? This is the all-time high right here, and this is where I think it's going to go to once we get there. But we did get up above 70 again today. And it's taking its sweet time. This was a big move down here. That was on Thursday, right? Friday, Thursday, Wednesday last week, we had that big move down. I think all these things down here, we had the potential to drop down to. I think those are all pretty much out of contention right now. I think now, we crunch this up a lot like that. You can draw a trend line of these bottoms like this. Something like that right there. And the tops, if you do a trend.
How does it look on target view?
Hang on. Let me see what the TV trade says. I know it gave a long trade a little while ago. Let's put it on. Put this on the daily. Okay, it gave a long back here on the 15th of May. And for targets, well, the first target is up here at 72,777, and the next target is at 73,835. So those are the targets that it has. 72,777. Where the heck is that?
Oh, that's
right
last there. Long signal worked out pretty good.
Yep. This one right here worked out really well. And the one before that was way over here. And the one before that was way over here. And the one before that was there. Now, I don't really know how to short crypto. I know I've never really tried to, but we could put the downside of this on too. Now that they have options about all this stuff, you could buy puts and trade options, or you could trade futures. You could trade the micro futures on this too. When you get the down arrows, take advantage of it on that side too. I don't know what the margin is for the micro futures on Bitcoin. Put the mid-trend trade on. I haven't put the mid-trend trade on this. There you go. The mid-trend trade gave another long trade from back here a little while ago. That was the 24th of May. And it had one right here on the 24th of February. And back here, 17th of November. So the mid-trend trade thing, that was, and the way I came up with that was kind of it was weird. That it's just a strange mathematical computation that I kind of saw and I just tried, and it worked out perfect most of the time.
Sometimes good things happen to good people.
Sometimes God's got a plan for all of us. I know that. All right. So that's what Bitcoin looks like from the TV trade perspective. It's wanting it to go up some more right here, and it's not suggesting any shorts in here yet. Okay. Wow. The ES is really tanking right now. I wish I would have left that trade on. Actually, if I would have left it on, it would have come back up. And if I left it on my stop in the same place, it would have kept going. That's one of the things that I'm doing with TV trades. I'm not really rushing my stop as much as I used to, as I normally do. All right, so back here now, we want the NQ to pull back up and test the ribbon. We want the YM to pull back up and test the ribbon. And that's it.
ES is pulling back to the 30-minute BVC.
Is that what it looks like? Let me go,
Yep.
Let me look at that on the DT. Here it is. And here it is. The ES 30-minute BBC is right at the 30-minute. This is the BBC down here, sorry. It's at the 30-minute MA1 right now. But dropping through this weekly trading zone. Now, why don't I have that weekly trading zone showing here? I have a midpoint showing. I must have the wrong zones on TradingView. This morning when I started doing the zones this morning, I think I screwed it up with the ES ones. Do copy selected text, and we'll come here, and in here, the weekly trading zone should start
That zone looked right, 5379/5380. That looked right.
Yeah, on my DT chart it did, but on my TradingView chart, it's not showing the right zone. Let me just put this in here. Let me just hit delete on this, and then paste that in. Do that. Click off it. Do this. Go to the end. Delete that. Click on it.
6162. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. And then the next one below is 5330/31.
Okay, right here. Yeah, 3031. All right, so I must have had something else drawn on my DT chart. Oops, this is not the right DT chart. Here, hang on. Here's my DT chart. Here it is. Why do I have this zone right here? 5360, 5361. I guess we're below that. That's why it's a 30-minute. We're just well below that. Get it. I get it.
Yeah, that is a valid zone, 61/62.
Okay. Good. Well, I will now save my workspace and DT. Workspace is save. Excellent. All right. Yeah, so it does look like from the 30-minute, it does look like it's headed down right here. And we have nothing there, and over here right now on this, I want to go out to 6. Let's see, this is the Mr. Put this on here. I'm curious right now. That's 1,000 range, yeah. with that on the full range. Okay, crunch that down like this. Got 2 blue bars right there with a red background suggesting it's going to go long. But they also happen right before a mid-trend trade usually too. You get a blue bar right about the same time you get a mid-trend trade. So we'll have to wait and see what happens with that. It would make sense for it to go down from here. It'd be a really good spot actually. But we don't have the little black triangle saying that there's a mid-trend trade likely to come up. All right, sideways, sideways. No trade zone, no trade zone, no trade zone. Okay. And excuse me. We just don't have anything. We have no trade ones on all of these markets right here. So the ES is bouncing off the ribbon right here on 7 range. It's right in the middle of a weekly trading zone right here, 361, 362. And there's the down close, and that's a down close with a blue background. So it's not going to give you any arrow or anything. Yeah, that's no good at all right there. All right. Oh, it's 122 already. That kind of stinks. Use up all that time earlier. So just waiting for something to happen. Somebody to do something. And I don't know. Does anybody want to go look at any other symbols than me? I don't even have the YouTube open right now because of those problems that I was having. But let me open it up now since I seem to have overcome them.
Yep, I got it open, and I just asked if anybody wanted to see any other future stocks, crypto, Forex, ETF. So no response.
No response yet. All right. All right, I got it open now too, so I can see.
Okay.
That's 124. We have 6 minutes left, and we don't have any trade setting up here yet. And the way that this worked out here with the ES right over here, not giving us any arrow or any indication here. It could, if I spread this out a little bit, you'll see. See how we went to blue for just a couple of bars there? It could do that again right in here. Let's go to blue for a couple of bars. Now this is the ES4 range here. You see with the mid-trend trades, it was just killing it in here. A bunch of places. Okay. Interesting stuff.
If the YM would drop, That would,
Yeah, what's kind of leading the pack this morning as far as the market structure goes? You know, this morning I was saying, let me show you. Bring over the 30-minute OIM. When this was happening this morning, right here, I was looking at it on the smaller time frame, and I was looking back on the smaller time frame. I was saying these are the bottoms right here, and if this candle, at the time it was down here, and I said if this candle closes up, we're just going to have a big wick down here that gives us the bottom, the same bottom right here, looking left, and it should move up from there. And it started to move up pretty powerfully in this candle, and then it just stopped right up here. It hit the weekly trading zone where there was resistance before, selling pressure before, right here. It stopped, pushed it right back down, and now we're right in the middle of the whole day. I don't know if you remember this morning I was drawing for everyone what it looked like to me. The markets were doing. They were all doing the same thing this morning, and they're doing it again right now on the 30-minute. You get all this congestion that we're in right here.
yeah, it may be sideways like this into on Wednesday. We have CPI and the Fed announcement.
Yeah,
So
I know we have a
I
lot
shared
of.
an article with everybody at the beginning of the broadcast, and the article was pointing out it was unusual to have both of those coming out on the same day.
Yeah, the CPI. We have the CPI coming out, then we have PPI coming out right after it, and it's yeah, the way it's panning out. Usually, what they would do is we would have when we have stuff like that, it would start to build into the market a couple days ahead of time. Is what it would usually do.
Because however that number prints Wednesday morning at 8:30, that's going to have a direct effect on what Powell has to say.
Yeah.
I mean, they make their decision on Tuesday, they announce it on Wednesday, but he's going to have additional information to work with because of that report coming out Wednesday morning. So,
and you know he's already got that information.
well, that I won't disagree with.
All right, so we just had over here. I don't know why it's not triggering here. Do I not have the shorts on this? Oh, I don't know. Oh, I have the 111 going there. I don't have this one going. Again, I'm not sure that this is the latest version. You know how to check if it's the latest version? You go out here and you go to about this script. Down here at the bottom, it will say the latest release I did, June 7th. This is it. Should all be in there. Oh, there it is. That's what I was looking for. That little red arrow I just hadn't turned over. I hadn't turned to the left enough. So that's still a valid trade right there. The stop on that would be right up here. The stop is 61.5 right there. So that should still work itself out to move down below this swing low right here. Okay. That's what it should do. We'll see what it actually does do. All right.
What price is your 30-minute BBC at on the ES?
Hang on.
Got that handy?
I do indeed. On the ES, my 30-minute BBC is right here at 53.54, okay. Right around there. Okay. 53.54, 53.55. That is a nice number for that to drop down to. I actually did get into that and ended up with a break even on it. But
could end up with a long trade coming out of there.
Yeah, it could. It's, I don't know, everything right now is at a point where I think all the markets are.
The Dow just gave I just got a buy alert pop up on the Dow. I don't know which one of my alerts and what it's set on.
Yeah, I know. I don't know which one. I don't know which one either. I got something just popped in. I heard a ding in my headset, so.
I might have mine set on a 5-minute. I don't.
Yeah. Well, right here, this Dow is not really giving us anything yet, but the ES is tanking. The ES is dropping right here pretty good. And if you go by the leg lengths on that, let's go to the ES right here. I'll go by the leg lengths on this. This to this. Yeah, that's about the same. There's similar leg lengths right there. So it's got a little bit of a pattern right now that it's got going with the leg lengths. Yeah, about this big right here is what they're doing. So that's about where it should get down to, is right about here. And this is a great opportunity right there from there. I don't know what the actual dollar value was on that. I can't see it. But if we blow it up, the short was here, 59 and a quarter, and so far it's dropped down to 57 halves for 7 ticks. Maybe 5 ticks if you missed a tick on each end of that. The Russell's actually given a little bit of a long trade right here where it is. I'm trying to minimize some of this stuff so that I can put it on here. I don't necessarily agree with the Russell giving us a long trade, where the ES is giving us a short. The NQ is giving us a short just about. The YM is pulling back. It didn't really put in a higher swing from back here, so it's not looking real strong. But this is a ribbon trade here. We're not going to have any kind of an arrow because it's not coming out of the oversold. Okay, that's what's happening there. Oh, wow, I didn't realize what time it was. All right, well, let me say this about that. If you have not taken a free trial with us, go here to mytradingiq.com and click on the purple button right here. When you click on that purple button, you will be brought to this page, a registration page right here. On this page, all we ask for is your first name, your last name, your email, your phone number. Fill out this form. If you have a Ninja Trader, give us your machine ID here. It's not your Ninja ID, it's your machine ID. If you have a TradingView, give us your TradingView login ID. Right? That is not your email, it's your TradingView login ID. If you have that information, provide it to us and we'll get your indicators indicating as quickly as we can. Yeah, that's it. With
We
that,
don't,
I guess
we
I
don't
can
need
pass
your
it back.
password. We just need the login
Right.
ID so that we can
That's it.
turn them on.
That is it. We can turn them on for you. There is no credit card required for the trial. All right. None required for the trial. All right. And with that, I can pass it back out to Fabulous Phoenix, Arizona. Wait, that Russell trade is starting to work out. Look, Russell trade's starting to work out. Let's lock
if you
in
want
4 ticks on it.
stay with it for a bit.
Okay, we'll let it run because it's going up to the high of the day. So it's gonna take me out right here at 4 ticks. It did take me out at 4 ticks, but it should go up through the high of the day. The ES is having a deep pullback right here. Just gave blue on red. So who knows? Who knows? The YM you said gave you a long trade or a long indication a minute ago, and that actually is starting to look like it's going to go long right now. All right. Well, as always, trade what's in front of you.
That's right.
All right. With that, we can pass it back out to Fabulous Phoenix, Arizona, in Studio A, overlooking Oklahoma, America's largest city park.
Okay, guys. Recap of the morning session.
Okay, 35 minutes, 13 trades to get to 2340 this morning.
Good job. So, guys, sometimes you got to just hang in there. You know?
Yeah, 2 mistakes this
New
morning.
traders too often, get a couple stop outs, and it's something you've got to learn to separate your emotions. You're using a strategy that's proven itself over time, and had Michael sat down 5 minutes earlier or 5 minutes later and started going, results could be a lot different. So that's something every trader has to learn how to deal with, and every person is unique. So that's why we have you trade and demo until you manage to put together 10 consecutive days in a row where you reach your goal, 10 trades or less, before you even think about going live. So, okay, all right. Well, thanks, Michael.
You are welcome.
All right, guys, to become a member, go to mytradingiq.com. If you have questions, call us at 949-42-EMINI. You can always email us, support@cfrn.net. If you become a member, passport holder, you'll get 2 hours of live training in an interactive environment every trading day. Watching live markets, you're watching live trading, and you're trading along in your demo account until you qualify to go live. Then you're trading in your live account. But you're asking questions, and every question that pops in your mind, you ask, you get an answer. Ask, get an answer. It's the best learning environment, interactive. 9 out of 10 new traders don't have that. And it is so critically important. Along with 2 hours of live training every trading day, you have access to private one-on-one mentoring at no additional charge. You learn the strategy and own the indicators as a passport holder. Now, futures, stocks, crypto, Forex, ETF, doesn't matter. Price flows the same across all markets and all time frames. From support to resistance, back to support, back to resistance, over and over, again and again, day after day. In fact, there are over 2,500 daily episodes on our YouTube channel. You could go to pick any one of those at random. And if you watch the recap, the part that I do, I'm pointing it out. See, the market found support here where we would expect it to. Then it found resistance here where we would expect it to. And I explain why we would expect it to. I do that every day. All of the CTA targets that are sent out. So I encourage you, if you're new, go back and watch some of those old episodes. And you'll go, he's right. It always goes from support to resistance, back to support, back to resistance. And what we teach you and train you is where to expect the support, where to expect the resistance. Part of it has to do with the indicators, part of it has to do with the weekly trading zones, and part of it has to do with just prior swing highs and swing lows. But it's everything a trader needs all under one roof at one low price. As a passport holder, you also get the Logic 247 alerts, the concierge trade alerts, the weekly trading zones, and you're able to attend the members only workshop every Thursday night. Plus you get the golden key that unlocks all the private channels we have in Telegram. Again, everything a trader needs, all under one roof. That's important. One low price. Let's wrap it up with our good word for the day. Now, we started Friday, part 1. It's time to pray. Today, part 2. In the day of my trouble, I sought the Lord. Psalm 77:2. Here are 2 important prayer principles. Number 1, talk to God when troubles surround you. If you're like most people, good times can make you trust in yourself instead of God. It's the troubled times that drive you to your knees. Bad medical report, a child hooked on drugs, a lost job, or a troubled marriage. That's God's intention in allowing troubled times. He allows trouble to afflict us, not to make us miserable, but to bring us to Him. Hosea the prophet said in Hosea 5:15, I will depart and return to my place until they recognize their guilt and seek my face. They will search for me in their distress. God's fatherly heart wants, above all, that we abide and confide in Him. And if it takes trouble to do it, He loves us enough to permit it. But when we turn to Him in our troubles, we discover that He is our refuge and strength, always ready to help in times of trouble. Psalms 46:1. Number 2, talk to God at all times. In his widely read classic, The Practice of the Presence of God, Brother Lawrence speaks of prayer as a continual conversation with God, a practice for all times, places, and circumstances. While cooking and washing dishes, he found conversing with God as satisfying as in his allotted prayer times. He counsels us that we may accustom ourselves to a continual conversation with him in simplicity, that we need only to recognize God intimately present with us and to address ourselves to him every moment. That sounds like Paul's instruction on the subject in Ephesians 6:18, which says, with every prayer and request, pray at all times in the Spirit, and with this in view, be alert with all perseverance and every request for all the saints. And that's our good word for today. Thanks so much for tuning in. Whoever you are, wherever you are, may God continue to richly bless you with his mercy and with his grace. And I'll see you at the bell.
Remember this, there is no greater return on investment than to see a human life changed and given hope. As always, pray hard and trade safe. Any financial information discussed on this show is simply the opinion of our host, Dwayne Reeves, his co-hosts, and guests. To learn more about trading E-mini futures or to take a 1-week free trial in our live trading room, call 1-866-928-3310. 866-928-3310. Information discussed on this radio program should not be construed as a recommendation to buy or sell any security. Always do your own due diligence and consult with a licensed securities broker or financial planner before making any investment decision.